Folks in Walworth, Southern Racine, and Kenosha County, once again, buckle your chin strap. You're looking at another round of showers and thunderstorms. A lot of lightning embedded with these storms, some gusty winds, large hail, and once again, heavy downpours. I'm going to put a storm track on this. I want to show you how intense these storms are. Heads up in Elkhorn, Williams Bay, Burlington. You can see Union Grove, Racine, and even Kenosha. Here is the storm track. Heads up in Burlington in the next 5 minutes possibly. And Racine, Kenosha during the 7 o'clock hour. This storm is racing to the east at about 30 miles an hour. I mentioned the large hail near Lake Geneva. 2-inch size hail being reported from our radar. That is golf ball size hail back right around the border here of Rock and Walworth County, near golf ball size hail as well. So we're looking at hail, heavy downpours. The rest of the area, just some light rain showers, but more will be on the way. And that's why the Weather Service keeping up this flash flood warning for, again, this is Walworth, Southern Racine, and Kenosha counties. Notice the time, it was for 6:15, so this has been extended until 10:15 this morning. Radar indication for rainfall, it has been incredible. Some of these rainfall totals near Burlington and Paddock Lake. We'll put an average here right in this box of around 4 inches in Burlington and Paddock Lake. We've gotten some reports between 5 and 6 inches of rain. The Weather Service is keeping up the flash flood watch, meaning conditions are ripe or favorable for flash flooding for all of southeastern Wisconsin until 10 o'clock. The setup looks like this. We continue to stream in that Gulf moisture around this warm front. That's going to lead to hot and humid conditions, but here comes a cold front, an area of low pressure that'll slice through, leading to some cooler temperatures and finally some drying conditions as we head into week's end and into the weekend. From the Storm Prediction Center, they are outlining all of our area for that slight risk of strong to severe storms. Flash flooding has been the concern overnight. Still some large hail, damaging winds, and with any severe weather situation, a tornado or two certainly could be possible. Your day planner, back in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. This would be our second 90-degree high if we do hit that. ReadyCast shows that line of showers and thunderstorms moving through. We'll catch a break, I think, late this morning and throughout the afternoon. That'll help the atmosphere recover. More thunderstorms, I think, will build in right around that cold front. Some of these, again, could be strong to severe, large hail, damaging winds, and possibly some more heavy downpours. And this could lead into some of these scattered showers as we get into Thursday morning. I think as we get into later Thursday and especially Friday, we'll look at cooling and drier conditions and possibly some sunshine poking out of the clouds for Friday. 76 the high, possibly a storm Saturday, 84, and the heat returns next week, possibly building up to 90 for Wednesday. 6:16 is your time on your Thursday morning. High pressure has been on the menu for us the last couple of days. That starts to move out, and we're going to start to see a change. In fact, two changes. Number one, we're going to have some clouds thickening up later today and some showers and thunderstorms on the table as well. That'll be later on tonight. Secondly, it's about that heat wave, and we're going to focus on that coming up in just a second. 60, we're warmed up into Milwaukee. 50s for West Bend and Waukesha. This time yesterday, we were in the 40s for you folks. So the muggy air is slowly trying to at least trickle in, and we're really going to get muggy, I think, later on this weekend. 70s for much of today. We do not have a lake breeze forecasted today, more of a west to southwest wind, and it becomes gusty, and that's what really is going to propel that warm up and bring those 80s and 90s into our area. High pressure moves out. Here comes that weak cold front, and again, it's more of a wind direction change line and a weak disturbance aloft that's going to generate a couple of these showers and thunderstorms already taking place in central and northern portions of Wisconsin. This will slide in later on tonight. You can see the development of some of these showers and thunderstorms. Nothing major, maybe some stronger storms up towards Green Bay and maybe Sheboygan. You might see some small hail and some gusty winds, but overall just a few lightning strikes and maybe a little bit of rain. Clouds move in on and off tomorrow, and then we turn our attention to the heat. Cool air locked up to our west and northwest. That big upper level ridge lets the 80s and 90s move in. We're talking about humidity. Again, highs in the 80s and 90s, and no records right now are expected, but you can see the records all in the 90s. Forecast high on Saturday, 89, 91 on Sunday. The record, probably the closest we'll get to a record would be Sunday. If we can get up in the mid-90s, we'll be flirting with that record. 90 then on Monday and 89 by the time we get to Tuesday. Last year's first 90-degree high, a year ago on Saturday, that might be our first 90-degree high in 2017. We didn't have any in 2014, and our first one back in 2012, which was one of our warmer years here in Milwaukee. That was early on. 70s for your Thursday and Friday, and then we're going into the 80s and 90s. We have a stronger southwest flow developing all that cool air is out to the west and far up into the northeastern quarter of the United States. So that's going to allow all that warm Gulf air to move in. We're talking about, again, dew points in the 60s and 70s. So heat indices from Saturday through Tuesday, it'll feel more like the mid and upper 90s instead of those upper 80s and lower 90s. So again, stay hydrated. If you don't have to be outside, don't spend a lot of time outside. 84 by the time we get to Wednesday. So there is a weak front punching in Tuesday night and Wednesday. That might kick up some showers and thunderstorms, but not a big cool off here. We're going to stay pretty warm heading into next week.
Well, we are tracking Irma right here at home in Milwaukee. I know you have been really keeping an eye on things right now and just how big it's getting.
It's massive. And yeah. I think it's hard for us to understand because we're not in hurricane country. We don't get hurricanes in Wisconsin. So I wanted to put out this nice little graphic to show everyone how massive this storm is. And if you put it close to Milwaukee, depends on where you want to put it, but it could possibly encompass Milwaukee, all the state of Wisconsin, the UP, parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and northern Illinois. So you're going about 400 miles by 400 miles. This is a massive storm right now in the Caribbean. And if you were looking at the eye of the storm, it's about 30 miles in diameter. So that would go from Milwaukee all the way west towards Oconomowoc. That's how big that eye is. Again, this is a monster of a storm. Record wind speed as well. I want to jump off the graphic so you can see this. It is now in second place for the strongest. Again, this is in the Atlantic Basin in terms of sustained winds. 185 miles an hour. The all-time record here was Allen back in 1980, 190 miles an hour. EF4 tornadoes. The scale is between 166 and 200 miles an hour. So picture, again, EF4 tornado is very, very strong, one of the highest you can get. But picture something that massive with an EF4 kind of strength when it comes to winds. Just unbelievable. The symmetry, you can see how well defined that eye is. It continues to at least sustain what it has right now. It's going over warmer waters as it tracks more northwest. So it looks like it will stay as a Category 5 hurricane for now at about 185 miles an hour. The pressure is at 914 millibars. The track is through the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, eventually Haiti, Dominican Republic, and maybe getting towards Cuba. Once that happens, a few models saying a couple different things here. It's been kind of trending toward Florida, at least since yesterday, but a few of the models have been indicating possibly taking an eastern or northeasterly turn back towards the Carolinas. Right now, the National Hurricane Center does have it making landfall by late Sunday, early Monday, possibly in the southern tip of Florida and the Florida Keys. So we'll have a lot more on this throughout this morning and the next several days. Closer to home, temperatures are cool with that upper level trough. We're stuck in the 40s for West Bend, Fond du Lac, 43 in Waukesha. It is 50 are warm spots in Beaver Dam, also in the city of Milwaukee. Northwest flow keeping things dry, keeping things cool, and even cooler compared to yesterday. That'll be the theme here, folks. The next several days, we're going to stay in the 60s for high temperatures. I think this afternoon, once again, we'll have scattered chances of showers. Will not be a complete washout. At times, you'll see sunshine. At times, I think you'll have some scattered showers as well. Fall-like pattern continues. That cold front tracks to the east, not affecting us directly, but eventually high pressure begins to move back in once that low and that cold front and that trough all together begins to pivot to the east. And that's going to bring some mild conditions and more sunshine. It doesn't mean we're not going to see sunshine today, but as we get daytime heating, again, we have really chilly air aloft, almost like an October weather pattern, and still that early September sun. That's going to lead to some of these instability showers. And that's going to be today and also for tomorrow. Once that trough exits, starting Friday, we're going to look at some very dry conditions on that 10-day forecast, and that could last all the way until next week. So the next 3 days, looks like we're stuck in the 60s, but the 70s returning for this weekend. And by the way, this weekend looking rather dry. Highs again 70, 72 for Saturday and Sunday, and then possibly mid-70s for a good chunk of next week.